YouTube.
And then if you could,
Okay, so
Jeff, if you could unmute the following people, they are commissioners for the roll call. If you could unmute Matt Pence, Karen DeStefanis, Cheryl Brown, Ed Holowinko, and Steve.
sorry, I muted Matt, Cheryl, and who's the other one?
Ed and Steve.
Ed and Steve. Okay. They are unmuted, I believe. Okay.
And Matt, the very first one, will be unmuted.
Hey, Alexis.
Hello, everybody. Karen, would you like to once again?
Get us going? Sure. I'd like to call the Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency meeting. Today is to order. Today is Thursday, June 11th, 2020. It is 6 p.m. Can I have the roll call, please?
Karen DeStefanis,
Here.
Ed Holowinko,
Here.
Steve Clockey,
Here.
Matt Pence,
Here.
and Cheryl Brown.
Here.
That's all five.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
sure. The first item we have is receipt and discussion. We have item S20 550, 34A Bain Street, construction of a deck, installation of an above ground pool with slope excavation adjacent to a wetland and water course.
Okay, and just before we really get going, I just want to warn you that we do have a bit of a time crunch due to the Zoom licensing of the city. We have a conflict of meetings, so there's pressure for us to move along. So we're going to try to wrap up within the next hour. That's for you guys and for all you applicants out there. So for Cretan Wilson, I think I mentioned I lose track. I think I have copies of the revised site plan. They came after your paper packets were delivered to your homes. So you'll get those for the next meeting, but I can do a screen share of it. The applicant has revised the proposed, not the layout, but the design of the barrier that fronts the inland wetland and tidal wetland after comments from the state DEP and the staff at the Planning and Zoning Office under their CAM review. So I'll just put that up. Give me a second. Jeff, I need to share my screen.
Okay. So I will, let me allow you here.
And then once I'm able to share my screen and the revised site plan, we can probably mute all of the commissioners.
Okay. So you,
And
I have set that up. So whenever you're ready, try it. There's also, I just wanted to ask you, an attendee, John Mullen, are they supposed to be a panelist or?
oh, he is supposed to be a panelist, yes.
Okay, so I will bring him
So
out.
John Mullen is now in attendance as well. Thank you.
All right, so I'll move him over to the panelist and yeah, you should be able to share your screen at any time.
Okay.
Hang on, Alexis, wait, I'm not,
Yeah.
am I muted? No, I'm not muted. I'd like to make a note that it's 6:05 and, oh, I thought John Mailing was here. No?
I think he is.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
working
yeah.
on him.
Yeah, so I'll just note that he's in attendance at 6:05.
Okay.
Let me, would you like me to mute everyone now, Alexis, or?
Yeah, you can mute everyone, but you can give the floor to the applicant, which is, we'll start with Elizabeth Succi.
Okay, oh, wait, hold on. I don't see that name here. Oh, I got it. Yep, got it.
Okay.
There's Elizabeth.
Hi, everyone. It's Liz. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, great. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you again for giving us the time to come before you and explain some of the changes that have been made since our last meeting with you. Most importantly,
Wait, excuse me. Sorry, Attorney Succi. Alexis, aren't we on 620, 550 Bain Street? Construction of a deck and installation of an above ground pool? Okay, you're muted, so I don't think any of us heard you.
I don't think she's muted.
Well, okay. Alexis, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Did I
Okay.
get that wrong or?
No, I completely forgot. So
Okay.
my apologies, Liz,
no problem.
and Jeff,
No problem.
and Dean, and Kate, and Alexander. So Jeff, let's, if you could keep me unmuted for a moment, and then I'm going to change my screen. I'm going to continue to screen share, but go back to the application that we should be at, which, Ms. Stephanis, you're right. This is S2550 340A Bain Street, where there's an installation of above ground pool and deck proposed adjacent to a wetland and water course. Let me put up the and Jeff, if you could in a moment, you got it. Okay, so this is Bain Street, which a lot of you commissioners are somewhat familiar with. There was some recent activity in the front portion of the property that required a corrective action permit. This is the wetland and water course. On this side of the property, there's also a pond in this location here, and the applicant is proposing to do an above ground pool in this area here. It's proximal to the wetland and water course. It is, however, within an existing lawn area. This is a, zoom in. An existing picket fence and wire fence area, and it would be within that area. So this is the house on the would be on the bottom left of this sketch. The wetland is on the top of the sketch, and then the proposed pool and decks are shown. So maybe we'll give the applicant the floor, and I can toggle back between kind of the sketch and the survey. The survey doesn't show the proposed pool, but the survey is obviously an accurate depiction of everything else. So with that, Jeff, if you could unmute Mr. Alexander Papadopoulos.
Okay. Perfect.
Hello, everyone.
All right. So if you could just, if you want to just give a very, very quick description of what you're proposing and go over some of the reasons why this location is where you'd like it.
All right, Alexis, I had sent you a picture also with a zoomed in image. Did you get that?
When did you send it?
Pretty sure I sent it to you. It's in-
Mr. Alexander, Mr. Papadopoulos, we can't hear you.
Okay, hold on. How about now?
A little bit.
I think I might have been muted. Can you guys hear me?
Better, yep.
A little bit now, yes.
All right, I don't know why. Give me 1 second. Let's see. All right, how about now?
That's better?
Okay, Alexis, I had sent you something on May 21st. And it had it.
I think you need to lean forward closer to your microphone because now we can't hear you.
Okay, stand by. You know what? I'm gonna leave the meeting and come back. My mother just tried to call me. I'll be back in 3 seconds.
All right, I'll go back to, all right.
How
So
about
oh, there he's back.
All right, I'm back. I had to
Okay, so
decline
you
mom, so
indicated
that's not gonna have a good ending.
That's better.
You had indicated that you had sent me something else. Was that,
Yeah,
did
it
you
was
email
on
it
May
today?
21st. I'm looking at the email now, and there was a drawing with some red and yellow on it and a depiction of where I would put the silt fence and all that stuff. There is the plan for the deck that you had requested. There's the actual survey, and then there's a picture that shows a blown up 1 to 10 scale of the survey that it says where the pool would be, how far it is from the water course. It's got the red where the grade would be changed. I had 3 attachments on it on May 21st.
Okay, well, I look for that and put it up if you want to just describe what you want to do.
Okay, I want to put the pool where it is actually because of primarily that's the flattest part of the yard that we have. The other side is kind of sloped where where we did the work last year. It also, my primary concern is visibility for the children in the pool. The deck would be right there, and that we have a big bay window in the kitchen, which allows my wife or myself to be watching children while we're cooking or doing whatever. As we all know, it doesn't take more than 15 seconds to lose a child. And my primary concern is there. Basically to be able to keep it out of view, you know, but in view for us as parents. I'm not proposing any changes to the water flow, or I'm not smart. I mean, I'm just doing this by what I think it should be. Accessibility, it's not going to hinder the whole yard. And I think it's the safest place, as well as there's what do you call it? A shed that's under the deck that I could store everything in, make it convenient, close, you know, any supplies, things like that. Basically convenience, but primarily safety, you know, to be able to watch the children. That's my primary concern. The existing deck is it's old. It would have to be updated, obviously, which that would go through the building department. Zoning has okayed everything as far as I know. Within my boundary, the slope would remain. Just moved back a little bit. I don't have to move very much from what I understand, but speaking to a few of the pool manufacturers, they say the critical component for a pool is undisturbed soil, because with 10,000 or whatever gallons, I don't know the number, I'm guessing the weight of that is phenomenal. And as it starts to settle, if the pool starts to buckle and crack, you have structural issues that you can be dealing with. So it has to be on undisturbed soil. From what I'm guessing, I wouldn't be going down more than about a foot. As you're looking at the picture on the south, on the bottom part, 1 or 2 feet tops. Yeah, that's the one. Where the red meets.
So you do want this as part of your application, okay?
Yeah. So the water flow off would be the same. If you guys need me to put some kind of drainage pipe on that side of the pool, I'll be more than happy to. I'm willing to work. I'm trying to be one of these Greeks that does stuff, gets a permit ahead of time instead of asking for forgiveness. But yeah, I mean, I love the vegetation. I love the privacy. I love that. I don't want to do anything to alter, I want to actually add, some more plant life up top. And, this is ours. We want to keep it and stay here and enjoy it. As Forrest Gump said, that's all I got to say about that.
And you had indicated that you'd use like a small skid steer to do the excavation in this red purple area?
Well, yes, I believe that a small skid steer or maybe one of those mini excavators or what, these little things, they're called glorified shovels in that world. They're not really excavators with tracks that tear up the, they're just,
Uh,
I think we may have lost them.
I guess I have a question. Do any of the commissioners have any questions that they'd like to ask? Steve?
So there's no proposed work within the wetland on the,
No, let me go back to the screen share. So he's, current condition, so the wetland line is this dotted line?
yes, I believe so. Yeah.
So part of the wetland is currently inside the lawn area, which is more or less where this fence is.
Yeah.
I believe there is some lawn on this side, correct?
Yeah, I think it's about a foot or 2, if I'm not mistaken. He had put the flag up and I hit it with the lawnmower. But it's close to the fence, but on the inside of the fence, yes. But the pool.
So Steve, to answer your question, it would be, I think that the closest disturbance is related to footings associated with the construction of the deck that get within 2 feet of the wetland line. And that's the most proximal.
Okay, but no major changes to grade or anything like that?
No. And for my
this part of the lawn is relatively flat until you get to the area that has the red scribbles.
No.
That area would be excavated, I believe.
No, the red scribble would be regraded. The yellow area.
Right, you would be excavating into that slope.
Correct.
Right?
It would be moving the slope back. The yellow area would be the flat area that I need. The rest of the deck, because it's not attached to the house, does not require those 42-inch footings. It would just be like a cement block 3 inches below the surface. And that's where it would sit. Because it's not attached and it's not structural to the house, is my understanding.
Do we have an idea of the quantity of dirt that's being moved in terms of yardage?
I believe he said he estimated around 15 cubic yards, if I recall. I'll flip this. So you did have a narrative that was attached in your paper packet that was delivered. He says that they're not expecting to bring in any fill, but that rocky slope there would somehow be excavated, and his estimate is about 15 cubic yards.
I'm sorry, guys. My phone keeps cutting out and
So about 15 cubic yards of material, and it would be removed off site, I believe.
Yes, yes, I have a buddy with a triaxle that's willing to take it, screen it, and then sell it to whoever. Dump truck, whatever that thing's called.
Are we confident that barrier can be established along the wetland that won't be trod upon or changed or eroded onto in any way?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't plan on touching it. What you're looking at, that line, the pool, I think I made that little gray circle there. The pool edge will be 47 and a half, I think. I can't see it on my glasses. I think it's like 47 and a half feet from the water course. And it's about 14 feet from the actual wetland boundary, that little dotted line.
Yeah,
And-
but the deck itself is going to be 2 feet away from the wetland line. Is that correct?
Correct, but it's not
Okay.
touching anything. It's going to be 52 inches off the ground.
Right. Now, I'm not worried about that. What I'm kind of concerned about is you have this silt fence that cuts, I'm just going to say north to south, but it's on the inside of the wetland line. And if you're doing some grading, how is that going to keep the sediment from coming into the wetland?
That, that silt fence can go wherever you guys need it to go. I just, rough-handed it there. I free-handed it there. Wherever it needs to, if it has to be on the outside the wetland there, that's not a problem. Not a problem at all. I'd rather do it that way because then I don't have to, mess with the fence, the existing picket fence. I could just, I didn't know what was required. So if you want it on the inside of the thing where the wetland marking, again, forgive me, I've never been accused of being intelligent. On the left side of the wetland lines, that's absolutely fine. I mean, that's not a big deal. It's just a silt fence. I don't want to go in there.
Other than the flag that you knocked down with the lawnmower, how many of the wetland flags are still there along that side?
All of them. All of them.
Okay.
They're actually the one that I knocked down, the one on the top of it and the bottom of it, the surveyor and the soil scientist actually put those on the picket fence. And then the rest of the flags are all on like trees, and he marked them that way. They're little orange, they look like strips. They're kind of like a strip of orange, something or other that he marked everything. And then the surveyor came, noted where they were and put them on the actual survey.
I have a question. The grading on the plan, I'm not convinced that it's the contours are connected accurately. I'm seeing some contours that, basically when you change a contour, you have to reconnect it to the same number. And I'm seeing a few of them connected to 103, it looks like.
What are you talking about? On the left side?
On the left bottom corner, it looks like you're grabbing the 101 contour, but that actually crosses over into your house. So that contour would actually have to hook up.
Yeah, where it is now, if you can see the purple line goes along the side of the pool, and then kind of where the trampoline was, if you look like to the bottom right of the trampoline, the hill, the pitch, the contour, whatever it's called, will still be there. But the 101 line is going to meet the 103 line at that point. So can you guys see me?
Yeah.
All right, if you look at what I'm doing is, here's my, I don't know how this is going to work. Side view, like you're looking from the driveway. Here's the contour now. I'm just going to do this. It's going to move back. However, I think it's probably about 4 feet just to be able to provide the flat surface. Under the deck, the contour can still exist. It's just the pool, where the footprint of the pool is, that needs to be completely flat. So the entire grade is just going to move back. I don't know the exact number, but it's that hill will still remain there.
So when this gets, so right now we're just receiving this, right? And
Correct.
discussing it. So I think before it comes time for us to vote on whether this should move forward or not, my two requests would be to update this document showing the silt fence as we discuss it to make it completely outside of the wetland area. And then it would be to make sure the topographical lines are actually are drawn on there in a way that Cheryl was alluding to.
All right, fair enough. Now I gotta ask you guys something as a married man with 3 kids. Is this gonna take another month and a half for you guys to do? Because I mean, I've started this, I tried to start this process before COVID. It's really, I mean, is this something I could just email Alexis, she shares it with you and it's done amongst yourselves? And I don't have to sit here and we don't have to wait for the next meeting. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm back at work too now. I don't have the free time.
You have at least one meeting, so the agency
There you
is
go.
not allowed under state statutes to make any decisions within 14, they have to wait at least 14 days from tonight. So they'll have another meeting, it'll be at least 14 days away.
I cannot hear you. If you can hear me, I cannot hear you.
Can anyone else hear me?
I
Okay,
can
got
hear you fine.
Okay. There are requirements that the agency wait a minimum of 14 days from the date of receipt, which is tonight, before they make a decision. So they
Okay.
will be holding another meeting. It will be at least 14 days from tonight.
Okay,
And that's the first opportunity that they will have to make a decision on your application.
okay, so.
As some commissioners have,
I'm asking if I get you this stuff before that 14-day period, will the decision be made that night or do I have to wait another 2 weeks?
if you get it to us, and if they don't have any other issues, then yes, that's within the realm of possibility.
Depends on how good your drawing is.
I'm a lefty. How good have I done so far? All right, yeah, I can't, you know, I don't want to pay some architect now another 3,000, no problem. You know, I'm at 3,000 already with soil samples and surveys. It's just a pool. All right, I'm gonna redraw those. I'll have, Alexa, I gotta go to work tomorrow. So unfortunately, it'll probably be Monday. If we can, I'll send you an email and I'll have everything ready. I'll do it over the weekend, new contour lines, new silt fence drawing. And I will meet you on the dock at whatever time you say is good, and I'll hand that to you.
Okay, so just hold up a second, Mr. Papadopoulos. So any other commissioners, do you have concerns that you should express? It would be best to do it now?
Nothing here.
Yeah,
I would also,
so Alex, I'll just, I will send you some comments just on your application form, clarifying some of the information. I think that all your measurements were from the pool, but in reality, the agency is regulating all activity, including adjacent to the activity of doing the deck and the grading.
Okay,
So if you can call me on Monday, that would be great.
all right, I'll give you a shot on Monday, Alexis. I'll send you an email. Are you back in the office now? Will you be answering?
Yep, you can email or call.
Okay, I'll give you a shout. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, but don't go away. Please don't go away yet. Is there any other comments? I heard Matt say no. How about you, Cheryl?
yeah, just one more. I see the slope is also getting a bit steeper. It would be nice to see some kind of a buffer planting, a small buffer planting to help with some of the runoff that may occur. You're also putting up decks where there used to be lawns, so there may be some water running off there, and it might be nice to catch some of that before it gets into the wetland.
What is your name?
Cheryl Brown.
Cheryl. Okay, what is buffer? Is that like plants? I'm dumb.
Yeah, some plants. Alexis can give you a native list.
Sure. Yeah, she gave me that the website that sells the wetland plants. I'm familiar. Okay.
Okay, so what Commissioner Brown is asking is that when you redo or update your map, that you show us like what kind of plants you're going to put and where they're going to be, so that we have a better idea of your plan, what you would do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Plants
And Ed, do you have any comments?
Not really, other than getting the silt fence in and addressing the concerns of the other commissioner. I think it looks pretty good.
Okay, how about you, John?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. I had difficulty logging on. That's why anyway, I have no comments.
Okay. All right, how about Steve, one last time, anything else?
Okay.
Okay. All right, great. Well, now you understand what our concerns are. Work with Alexis.
Matt, did you have any? You were all set?
I'm all set. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Cheryl. My only, my concern would be the runoff. So if they're gonna do something to address that, that would be it here.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Am I free to go?
You're free to
Yeah.
go now, thanks.
I got 3 hungry ones and a wife that's not even home yet. Guys, thanks a million. Alexis, I'll give you a shout on Monday and we'll go from there, okay?
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
I can tell you that we are not going to make the 7 o'clock deadline. So here we're going to S20 549 310 Wilson Avenue, Web Construction LLC, establishment of a contractor's yard for storage of processed materials adjacent to a wetlands. We are on discussion and or decision.
So back to Elizabeth Fletchy.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last meeting of this commission last month, some changes have taken place, and they are a result of further discussions and review by the Department of Planning and Zoning, as well as the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, specifically John Goucher. And this most significant change to the plan that you saw was that initially there had been along the eastern, or at the bottom of the page, at the bottom of the plan, along the edge of where the material storage area would be located. We had initially proposed a 20-foot high concrete block wall with a fence. That concrete block wall to that height has been eliminated, and instead a 3-foot concrete block curb with fencing atop of that is proposed instead. This was in response, as I said, to DEP comments and also P&Z comments. So I don't want to go into too much detail myself. I think Dean Martin is also online in case you have specific engineering questions for him. But that's the change that has been effectuated and provided to staff as of, I believe, last Friday, and should be in front of you. Okay. Now, if you have any specific.
If Dean Martin could be unmuted. Hi, Dean.
Hi, Alexis. How are you?
Good. So this is the new curb detail, right? And so it would be one course of concrete block? And
That's
then
correct.
a chain link fence?
Yes, along the exterior of the block, yes. And the block would extend 8 inches above grade. It's a 3-foot wide concrete block. And then we also would, as we had proposed previously, when we had the tall 20-foot high concrete block wall, the areas which are within the or below the elevation 11 flood zone we would place the filter fabric, the specification which I submitted to you. We would attach that to the inside of this fence around the perimeter as a little way to filtrate sediments.
Okay, so it'd be along the inside of the fence and then somehow pinned to the block?
Yeah, it would go down under the block and wrap around the block essentially.
And do you know how high up the fabric would
Well, again,
go?
it would be, we're about at 11, just below elevation 11 on the south end of our storage yard. the smaller end. So it would be, if you can see right below where it says material storage is the elevation, is the 11 contour, just to the left of where it says material storage within the yard area. Right, just above your pointer, to the right, to your right.
To my right.
Yep, back to the left, next line over, that's the elevation 11 contour right there.
Okay.
And it kind of wraps around. So just that small, from there to the south end of the yard is the only area that's lower than elevation 11. That would be the area which would receive the filter fabric on the wall.
Oh, okay. Now I got you.
There would still be the row of plantings and the fence to obscure the view of the material storage with the privacy slats through it. And the plantings haven't changed. The only change, as Dean has mentioned, is reduction from 20 feet high to 3 feet. But the majority of that 3 foot high block is underground with a little bit extending above.
I have a question for Liz, if you can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I be heard? Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Liz, quickly, my understanding is that the new barrier is designed to keep any possible drainage or leakage of the crushed stone into the marsh. That seems like a pretty good plan. Is there anything that has changed that relates specifically to the wetlands?
I'll take the first stab at the answer, but John, yes, in response to your question, that is the only change, and that is the idea for that block to act as a bit of a barrier so that the tidal wetland is protected. Beyond that, the dimension, the location, the configuration, where it's situated mirrors exactly the plan that was originally submitted. Perhaps Dean can clarify if I've made any errors, but I don't think that the plan has changed other than the height of that block wall.
Yes, that's the only change.
If you have no other questions of us, we're certainly happy to answer any others you may have. We would hope that you could move this matter to action. Just to give you an update on what the status is with other commissions, the Zoning Commission will review for the first time the application for special permit in coastal area management on Wednesday of next week. And those applications require a public hearing. So we would hope that this commission could take action on this prior to the Zoning Commission conducting the public hearing. The Zoning Commission, as some of you may be aware, cannot act on an application if there is a application to an inland wetland agency, unless and until that inland wetland agency issues its decision. But I don't anticipate that the Zoning Commission will conduct a public hearing on this until either probably mid-July. So there is some time, but it has been hanging around for a while, and I would appreciate it if you would schedule this for action as soon as your schedule permits.
Any other comments or questions from other commissioners?
I have a comment. I have walked the site, and I think this is an acceptable and appropriate way for them to do what they need to do. I don't have a problem with it, the way it's been put together for us.
Alexis, just remind me, we talked about this, I guess, back in the beginning. This isn't, we're not required to do a public hearing on this, correct?
That is correct. I think that you, 1 second. I think you did not make a determination on it. It is an intermediate regulated activity just based on the, not including the material storage, the activity, cubic volumes of materials needed to establish the yard.
Mhm.
I think when it was received, you had left open whether you needed a public hearing or not, because you wanted to just understand the application more.
Okay,
So that technically is something that you could take care of tonight, is making the determination whether or not you do feel it's warrants a significant regulated activity, or if it warrants a public hearing for any other reason. But it is an intermediate regulated activity currently.
okay, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any opinion on or feel strongly that this should go for a public hearing?
I do
see
not
s-
think it should go.
I see Steve shaking his head no. How about you, Matt?
At this point, I don't have a position one way or another, so I'll defer to the more senior commissioners.
Okay, what about you, Cheryl?
I don't see it requiring a public meeting.
Okay, how about you, Ed?
I don't see us needing a public hearing on this.
Okay, and John, I'm assuming that's the same for you, but please confirm.
Yes, that's the same for me.
Okay, so it seems like there's a consensus that we don't need to take this to a public hearing. So do the commissioners have any additional questions?
I just had one question. Do we think that the 8-inch curb is really high enough, or should it be higher? Maybe like 16 inches?
I think, and again, Dean can certainly correct me if I go wrong, but I think the 8-inch was the acceptable height that DEP had indicated. And the configuration and the way in which this is now being shown to you was a result of discussions directly with John Goucher at DEP. So that's why it has been designed as it is.
Okay. As long as
Well, Liz, wasn't I think that the one course of concrete block and it being 8 inches, the DEP was suggesting that at that height, it would not be considered an erosion control structure on coastal waters, right? I don't think that they were commenting regarding its efficiency at containing sedimentation. I don't know. I don't have any information from DEP.
I think you're probably right, Alexis, they were not commenting on how it functions to the extent that the commission's interest and jurisdiction reside. I'm just indicating that this seemed to be what would be acceptable to DEP in terms of it being a control measure.
So the idea is that going back to the question, the material would be piled in these bins, and then so the wall along the western side is still a 20-foot high retaining wall, and then there would be some kind of angle of repose down to the area where the presumably the trucks would kind of travel back and forth to access the material.
That's correct, yes. Yes,
And
the piles,
Mhm.
if I might step in, the piles, the material piles, Alexis, would be more or less contained within the bin walls in the center of the site, separating each type of material. And there would be, so on the back wall, the material may be 20 feet high. It's not going to be 20 feet high on the front wall, obviously, because as you said, there is an angle of repose. And it does not extend all the way to the front curb. There has to be maintained access to all of the piles.
And so, if the amount of material exceeds 8 inches, is there a best practice that would keep it from going across the block and through the chain link fence and into the wetland?
Well, it's not, the material is not going to be stored even 8 inches right to those blocks. As I said, there's going to be a roadway. So the material will be at least 10 feet, probably 8 to 10 feet away from those blocks will be the base of the material.
I'm getting the impression that there are two considerations that are acting in conflict. I think DEP probably did not want the big wall so that there was more room for when the water does rise, it's not being restricted. Although all it's got to do is go another 50 feet back and it is being restricted by a big concrete wall. And what we're concerned about is when that water does come in, that when it recedes, it doesn't drag crap back into the salt marsh. Is essentially what I don't know. I think that's what's happening. I don't know what the correct solution is, and I don't know if there's even anything we can do about it, to be completely honest. I think it's terrible to have it there in the first place, but that decision's been made.
Again, that's one of the reasons that the filter fabric would be placed along the fence. And we can actually extend that filter fabric along the length of this whole eastern side of the wall, which would help to contain some of those sediments.
I mean, yeah,
Right.
that's nice, but as soon as we get another big storm, a chain link fence with sediment, whatever screen on it really isn't going to last very long, I wouldn't guess, depending on the size of the storm. So again, it's like, if it makes us feel good to do it, I think, yeah, we can definitely ask that to be done.
Steve, I think I can enlighten you a little bit. The marsh, if you were to see a full picture of the entire marsh, you'd realize that this is the highest point. If water was going to come in any great volume, it would spread in different directions because those directions are lower. I've lived there almost 20 years and I've never seen water come up anywhere near. That's not to say that it couldn't happen tomorrow, but the likelihood, I think, is very, very low.
Okay, well, yeah, that's why I'm willing to just go with it, because I don't really know what we can even remotely anticipate. So I'll defer to your judgment, John.
Any other questions or comments?
I don't think so.
Not here.
Okay, so it will return to the next agenda again for discussion if you want, and decision if you want.
Well, I don't think I'm hearing any commissioners who are vehemently opposed to this and who have a lot of concerns. So I think at this point, we're probably ready to go ahead with the decision at the next meeting.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a plan.
Okay, great.
Are we
Thank you.
unable to make a decision now?
Yeah, we're not doing it now. That's the heavy-handed commissioner speaking. No, I think it would be in the best interest of the commission to wait till Alexis has drafted up a draft resolution with conditions. And that way we make sure that all of the bases are covered. I think that would be probably the prudent thing to do.
And that will most definitely happen in advance of a zoning commission public hearing, I guarantee.
And when is the next date of this the next commission meting?
I don't have an approval yet with our new online process is a process. So I will let you know as soon as a date is approved.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to share them with Alexis, and Alexis is very good at getting them to us, and we'll respond as quickly as we can should you have any other concerns, questions, or thoughts. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Okay, so I think the next item is enforcement action, which is V20-1006 Shadow Lane Garcia, show cause hearing, unauthorized clearing, excavation, and filling in adjacent to a wetland and a water course.
Yeah, so this is a show cause hearing. Give me 1 second to just try to find something. So a show cause hearing, you're required to hold a show cause hearing within a certain period of time after you issue after we issue a order. I'm just going to try to get some photos. What a show cause hearing does is when we issue an order, we're basically saying that we believe there is a violation on the property, and a show cause hearing allows the respondent or the property owner, Mr. Garcia in this case, an opportunity to show cause or to give you additional information regarding his activities. And you can use that information to either uphold the order, withdraw the order, or modify and uphold the order. And so I'll just give a quick background, and then I will give the floor to Mr. Garcia. The Conservation Office issued a notice of violation on April 14th, 2020. Let me just try to share screen again. So these, the work cited was the excavation in this area here, which is proximal to the watercourse that's on the left side, and it's probably just within the wetland area on the property. The property has been delineated. The wetlands on the property have been delineated, and I'll get a picture of those momentarily. Sorry, I'm screen stuff. And so this is another picture of that trench, and then the stream is on the left. And I just can't find, sorry. I thought we had uploaded a picture of the property, but apparently I don't have it. So let me just go to it here. Sorry. All right, so 8 Shadow Lane. Here we go. So 8 Shadow Lane is off of East Rocks Road, oh, sorry, it's not quite there. Oops. Good Lord. Okay. This is the subject property, 8 Shadow Lane. 8 Shadow is a cul-de-sac off of Eastwood Road, which is off of West Rocks Road. So West Rocks Road is in this location, and then there's this watercourse and wetland valley along Driftwood and Shadow, Eastwood and Midwood, and East Rocks Road is over here on the right. And so at this property, the Garcia's decided.
Alexis,
Sorry?
can I just interrupt? Is
Yeah.
everybody seeing what Alexis is showing? Because I only see photographs.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah,
but
same
hold
here.
on.
Okay, I didn't see the
No,
map
wait
that
a
you're
minute.
talking about.
Hold on 1 second then. My apologies.
Okay, I see that now.
All right, so let me just reiterate real quickly. Sorry about that. It looks great on my screen. West Rocks Road is to the left. East Rocks Road is to the right. This here is Shadow Lane. It's off of East Wood, which connects to West Rocks Road. 8 Shadow is at the end of the cul-de-sac. To get to 8 Shadow, the driveway crosses the watercourse, and then the wetlands have been field delineated. They're in the green area. The respondent currently does have a permit to do construction activities adjacent to the existing residence, all around it. The existing permit has a limit of disturbance or silt fence that comes probably in this area, so it's not in the wetland. And when Ms. Hertanic was doing just a basic permit compliance inspection for the activities that are already permitted, she noticed the trenching in this area. As I noted, she sent a notice of violation on April 14th, 2020, and it had a variety of different directives with deadlines. Those deadlines passed. Although I believe that she did talk to Mr. Garcia in the interim. And then after not receiving any information on May 18th, a cease and restore order was issued. And then on June 3rd, I wrote a follow-up order making sure that the Garcias did in fact receive a invitation to tonight's meeting. And you should have my June 3rd and Brenda's May 18th letter in your paper packets. And so basically it does just cite the trenching of the wetland area. And the order has the same directives. And what we were trying to do with the directives was to expedite restoration. And so it said to stop work immediately. And then instead of going through the permit process, we had suggested that the respondent provide a restoration plan that met some basic objectives that were laid out in directive number 3. That included sedimentation erosion controls, a plan for filling the trench, stabilizing the area, and then replanting the area. We did not require, as we most typically do, the filing of a corrective action permit application that would go in front of you. So I just wanted you to be aware. Often we do for a notice of violation that seems like it will be a relatively quick fix, we do a restoration plan instead of going through the full permit application, especially when it's so, this one was pretty linear and confined. So that's it. Any questions for me before I hand it over to Mr. Garcia? Okay, well, I'm shaking heads. Hello, Mr. Garcia.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. So, so I just kind of described to them why we issued you the series of letters.
So
and it's your opportunity to give them
okay.
any information that you want.
So basically, I bought a property a couple of years ago. Whatever I'm doing there, everything is I have permit for. Now, when this person came to my house and took a picture, I don't have any proof that that small trench that I put by accident. I don't know if it was by accident. I think my accident was not to ask. I never got any proof that it is on wetlands. Number 2, you said replant. That property was left alone for a couple of years, and the bank took over. and that land was pretty much a disaster. So I get your point. If you follow the rules, you probably figure, you know, I took branches, trees, and bushes down, which I didn't. It was just a big pile of dirt. I understand that I made a mistake, but I hope you understand. It is my property. I was not trying to ruin my lawn. I was just trying to just make it look good. But I just want to correct that when you said that I need to replant. I am not going to replant anything because it was just a big pile of dirt. I need to just to fix that. And I understand it is a big deal for you guys, but I mean, I talked to a couple contractors, couple landscaper, and they say, well, I don't know what to do. I mean, just put the dirt back on the hole and you all set. But you guys don't want to. You won't let me go if I do that. I see that I have to replant. I have to put the soil. I'm totally lost. You know, I get it is my property. I've been working. I've been putting a lot of money into that property. I want to make it look good. And I didn't destroy anything. I didn't destroy anything. The cell phone was up. It got blown by the wind. I talked to this nice lady. I forgot her name. I explained to her, listen, I put a new cell phone. Everything is up. Everything is clean. We were under construction a few weeks ago. If you go by right now, everything is clean. Everything is neat. I'm just want to do the best on my property because that's what I'm going to be moving with my family. I understand we need to follow the rules. I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to make us excuse, but at the same time, I mean, I think there's worse things out there than be worried about why I put a small hole on my property. And if you measure, I don't think it's on the wetlands because in order to get a permit, it took me over a year. So I don't think I'm on the wetlands line, to be honest. Now, even though when I talked to this lady, she said to me, I was on the phone and I took a tape measure and I said, listen, I'm like, I think I'm over 10 feet apart from the wetlands. Okay, so you're good, but you still gotta get a permit. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I get your point and I give you my apology for doing things without asking. I mean, of course, I get that part, but I will ask for a break and see if I can just, like I said, I'm not going to replant because there was no plants. Everything was a big pile of dirt. All I'm asking is just want to get over. I'm a contractor and I'm so busy with work that I can't really be, spending time. But at the same time, I want to fix it. But I mean, to me, to fix it, just like put the dirt back in the hole. Get a permit because I'm looking to get a architect to a landscaping architect to join the front of my property and get a permit for it. But I don't know what's gonna be next. I don't know what to do. I mean, if I was that day when the guy came to my property, I would have put the dirt back in the hole. And this will be done now, but I didn't do it. But at the same time, you guys keep, sending me the directions, which for me doesn't make no sense. So if I get like a clear direction on how to fix this, I will just get it over. But again, it's not like I killed frogs, I killed birds, no, I didn't do that. And if you look, like I said, that property was left for a couple of years.
Alexis, do you know what the first permit was? The permit there was a permit granted that that Brenda was checking on, or what permit was that?
Yeah, so pulling that up now. So it's a minor permit D-19-493, which was issued in May 2019 for demolition of the existing garage and construction of a new garage with second-story living space above and a deck with some minimal associated grading, all within the upland review area.
Okay,
Alexis, could you go back to the picture so that I can see it again after the context of Mr. Garcia's discussion?
Yes. That photo?
Yes, okay.
So this is the front of the house. It's taken from the driveway, so you see the cobblestone on the bottom. That is the driveway where there's a culvert that allows the stream to cross under the driveway. I don't know what the proposed,
And it appears that the banks have been regraded. Is that?
yeah, just this area here. So I don't know, is this the, Mr. Garcia, is this the existing stone wall that has been there, the cobbled wall?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was no existing
so it's
wall.
just-
There
Yeah,
was
so
no
it's just
existing.
it's literally the trench and then the excavated material that was deposited down slope of the trench.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and part of it has been kind of just so not knowing, you know, when we send out the notice of violation, that trying to figure out what was the proposed intent, or, you know, where the excavated material was going to go long term, or if it was just going to stay there, or
And,
a lot of it is just a lack of knowing what's the extent of the proposed activity on our part.
yeah. So my intention was, I was going to put a small retaining wall because the whole front needs to be. My plan was like level my front and have like a level surfaces, and I was just going to put small retaining wall. And from that trench, from that small retainer all the way down, I was going to replant. Again, that was my
Okay.
intention. That's the me. I'm doing it because, of course, obviously I got to put a permit to make my house pretty, I guess.
Right.
But again, but again, you know, I mean, again, I clean the whole. Anyways, all I'm asking is, I just want to get over, and I mean, and I'm telling you what I'm gonna be doing in the next few weeks. Oh, I'm gonna have someone to put something together. I'm going to present it to the wetlands. I'm gonna get a permit for, and I'm just gonna have to start from scratch. So if you allow me to just put all that there back in the trench, I think we're gonna be all set.
Alexis,
And
could
when
you,
you mentioned about having somebody come out, you have some additional activities that you're interested in doing and getting?
Well, I gotta do my driveway. I need to do my driveway. And I need to pull a permit to do my driveway. I need to do my driveway. I gotta put a retaining wall right next to my driveway on left and right sides. Again, in the perfect world for me, I would like to have the front of my property being level, okay? And if a small retaining wall is not an option, I'm gonna have to work something else. If it's possible. If it's not possible, I'm just gonna have to live with it. I'm gonna try to get a permit to make all this area, you know, like you see all the stones right next to the water, right next to the river, right? All that's like a mess. I didn't do anything to that, but I would like to talk to somebody and see if I can, you know, put, not like trying to put it nice and neat and straight, because it's a mess. I think I'm allowed to do that. I don't want to put any cement, any chemicals. It's just going to be pure stones, but I just want to make it look good, you know? So again, if you give me the opportunity to just put the dirt back on the trench, on the hole, and then I'm just gonna leave it like that, and then I'm gonna put my permit for what I'm thinking, clean this area, maybe put a retaining wall, level my whole front. I gotta put a permit to do my driveway. I think I'm gonna be good. I don't think it's a big deal, to be honest.
Alexis, could you go back and show us the aerial map that shows the wetland delineation?
And do we have 4 minutes left?
Yeah,
Oh, seriously?
yeah, Jeff has another, yeah, we'll keep moving along until we're done. So this is do you want the whole property? The gray line is the property line. This is the existing driveway. These are the,
No, I don't see a
Cobble?
map.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
forget-
don't see.
I
your
gotta,
screen.
hold please. My apologies. Okay. The gray lines are the property lines. Do you see the map now?
Yep, yep.
Here is this is the cobblestone that you could see at the base, looking in this direction here. This is, I don't have the survey in front of me, but this was a recently drawn in from a survey location of the wetland area.
And then where's the trench?
Let me just take off the wetland delineation. You can see a little better. So the trench is approximately right here.
So is this open trench filled with water?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
When the photo was taken, yes.
Mhm.
I can go back to the,
No, that's okay. So, but if it's in the wetland, then you would assume that he's hit, maybe where the groundwater recharge is coming in or something.
you're right. I
Okay.
mean, the wetlands are delineated on the top 24 inches of soil, in part because that's, most wetlands occur, I mean, this is a riparian wetland or a wetland next to a water course, but you have groundwater that is coming up close to the surface for a certain period of time, for enough duration of time to make that soil a wetland soil because of that, the groundwater coming close to the surface. And that's what you saw in the trench. The photo was taken in when we did the original notice of violation in mid-April.
Okay, and the trench is how distant from the stream?
Let me just go
10
back.
feet?
Less than 10 feet.
Okay. Okay, so commissioners, here's the question is, we have this cease and restore order. And as Alexis said, we can, we have 3 decisions, either to uphold it, to modify it, or to close it out. So I'm going to ask you I personally feel that we should uphold it, because I feel that it's too close to the stream. You're in a wetland, and I think it concerns me to just backfill the trench. But I would love to hear the other commissioners.
I would agree. I think the loose soil, it's going to rinse into the, it looks like it'll rinse into the stream. I agree to uphold it.
I agree.
I also agree on that.
I agree as well.
I agree.
And are you comfortable with the way that the order is written, requiring just a restoration plan?
Yeah, you lay it out pretty straightforward, sediment and erosion control. replace the disturbed soil in the trench, stabilize vegetation plan for the disturbed area, a wetland mitigation planting plan that includes a minimum of 10 native shrubs along the slope, which is going to help with the sedimentation and, and that it must be seeded with a native mix. So I don't have any concerns with any of these directives.
My only suggested edits would be updating the dates.
Oh, on or before Thursday, May 21st, 2020.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and implemented before June 11th, which is today.
Right.
Okay, do I hear a motion from anyone?
I will submit a motion if we can determine what the new dates should be. So let's see, for cease and restore order number V20-1006, in Alexis's memo, we would want in line 3, instead of Thursday, May 21st, 2020 for the submittal of the restoration plan, we would have instead what, Alexis, would you suggest?
How about the end of the month, June 30th?
June 30th?
That's
And
good.
then in line 5, in lieu of for implementing to the satisfaction of the wetland agent of the restoration plan described above on or before
July 21st,
July 21st, 2020.
2020?
Yep. And then the show cause hearing that was to be held on Thursday, May 21st. I guess that just gets nixed because we're having that right now.
Right.
Okay, the motion's been made by Steve Clocky. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ed Halowinko. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, maybe we should do a roll call. Matt Pence,
Here.
Cheryl Brown,
Aye.
Ed Halowinko,
Aye.
Steve Clocky. Oh,
Aye.
you made the motion. Yeah, sorry. John Mailing,
Aye.
and myself is an aye. All those opposed? Abstentions? It's moved. Okay, Mr. Garcia, we're upholding the cease and restore order. So Alexis will get you, I guess, an updated letter with different dates on it.
Mhm.
And you're welcome to work with her on developing a restoration plan.
Okay, so you will get me either an email or a letter how we can restore. And then once this gets restored, what should I do?
So I'll send you a letter that lays out all of the, what they've upheld. And then you'll, I guess once you get my revised letter, which you'll probably get on Monday or Tuesday, I'd recommend if you could give me a call or send me an email to set up a time to have a phone conversation where you can go through each part of the letter.
Okay.
And I can kind of just give you more information. And then all the other activities that you talked about, those all require a permit also. So I can give you information about how to work towards an application where you would show your proposed retaining wall and all the other stuff that you talked about.
Okay, let me fix this first and then we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll wait to hear from you like on Monday or Tuesday. You should send me a letter, right? Or email.
Yes, I'm going to mail you a letter. I have to mail it certified return receipt, but I'll also email you a copy. And the email that I've been using works. The info at Jonathan, or the email that I sent it to worked, right? That's good?
Info at jonathanpainting.com.
Okay.
Alexis, Correct me if I'm wrong, but the action items that he has, they're all very similar to the original letter, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
they are, so basically what the agency upheld are the same actions that are in both the April letter and the May letter, but with new deadline dates.
Okay,
Got it.
All right,
all right.
thanks, Matt.
I'm free to go, right?
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
So maybe, I know that Jeff needs to go, maybe could we have a very quick motion to release the bond?
Do you recommend it?
So moved, I
I
guess.
do.
Okay, motion's been made by John Mailing and seconded by
I'll second it.
Cheryl Brown. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Abstention? No, it's carried. All of us said aye.
Okay, unanimously. Any interest in a very quick approval of minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 21st, 2020 with no changes.
I
My
second.
only comment real quick, sorry. I think I was in favor of approving the prior meetings minutes. I know I wasn't part of that, but I did listen in on that. And I think you have me
Oh,
understand.
okay.
I don't know if it matters, but
I will look at that and amend as appropriate. How's that?
thank you.
Okay.
Any other changes? Nope. Did we have a second?
Yeah, I seconded.
Oh, John Mailing seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Looks like that's, with the change for Matt, it looks like that's been approved. And then we go on to, there's no public. I don't see any attendees.
No.
So comments of staff?
So just real quickly, you had some corrective action applications that you approved back in December. And in particular, I'm thinking of 45 Devil's Garden Road, which required activity in June. 45 Devil's Garden Road was the one that they had filled a portion of a pond with a bunch of wood chips. That was the way to how much leaves, how much wood chips one. And then at the same time was 3 and 5 Chipping Lane. That was the water course where there was some excavation and rechannelization. And those were both to be done in this month. And they're both seeking for a little bit of extra time. So at this point, because I know that they're not going to successfully meet those deadlines anyway, I wanted to see if the commission would be okay with staff granting an extension of time to the end of, the end of the summer. So originally, I think early spring excavation and then a spring planting was the idea. At this point, I think it makes sense to do excavation at the end of the summer and then do an early fall planting.
That makes sense.
Any significant issues with kind of giving a bump back?
No, I have no problem with that.
Excellent.
It's fine.
So I'll do that for both of them.
Does anybody have any concerns?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, sorry, everyone, I have to jump in here. The group is gonna take over the account in like 1 minute. I don't have
Okay.
control over it.
Is there a motion to
So-
adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Good. Made by Steve Clocky, seconded by Ed Hallowenko. All those in favor? There you go. It's done.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank
you
you.
all. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank
you.
you.
Right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.